Good morning. Today I'm going to quickly show you how to harvest the spring's most popular cut flowers, tulips and daffodils. We are going to use proper farmer florist techniques so you can get the absolute most out of your spring blooms. Now, for this job, you're just going to need a few things. Most importantly is a clean vessel to put your flowers into, whether that's a bucket or a vase. The other things you're going to need are a pair of snips and a good pair of gloves. Welcome to the front garden on what is a slightly dreary, drizzly day in the Pacific Northwest. Behind me you can see we have tulips and daffodils in bloom. We're going to go ahead and start with the daffodils. When it comes to harvesting daffodils, you actually don't need your snips. So we'll set those aside for the moment. But what you do absolutely need are gloves, because daffodils have a particularly tenacious sap and it causes a lot of skin irritation. So you want to protect your hands. Bees are not in the perfect stage for harvesting if you are a farmer florist. If you're a farmer florist, you definitely want to harvest your daffodils when they're in a more closed state. They'll last better for storage and they'll last longer in the vase for your customers. If you're just a home gardener, this is a perfectly fine state to harvest your daffodils in. This particular variety, I don't remember the name of off the top of my head, but I will look it up and put it in the description of this video. When you're ready to harvest the daffodil, don't grab your snips. Instead, you're going to pull the daffodil from the base, like so. If need be, you can use your snips to cut the stems shorter. And then you'll want to put them directly into your clean vessel. If you're harvesting your daffodils for sale, you'll definitely want to leave them in that vessel all by themselves to let some of that nasty sap drain out, and then transfer them to a new clean bucket if you're going to market or delivering to customers. For the home gardener, this will work just fine. Now, there's also some talk about not mixing daffodils into arrangements with other flowers. Again, if you're a farmer florist, you might want to hold back on that, but for a home gardener, this works just fine. And the reason being, for those of you that are curious, is again that sap. It has a tendency to screw with the other flowers in your arrangement and make them last not as long. Now, let's talk tulips, so grab your snips. If you're a first-year flower farmer, it might be tempting to look at this bloom and cut it and put it in your farm stand, but that would be a mistake. The actual right time to cut or harvest tulips for sale is when they're in bud stage, like this. And the way you're going to do it as a farmer florist is you're actually going to pull the entire tulip out of the ground, bulb and all. But I am no longer a farmer florist, so in this case today, I am actually just going to use my snips, and I am going to cut the one that is already open. Voila. I will use the farmer florist technique of removing the foliage, and then I will cut the stem to the length that I need it to be. And again, just to reiterate, as a farmer florist, you definitely don't want to mix your daffodils in with other blooms. But as a home gardener, we can break the rules a little bit and achieve beautiful effects. Now, I usually don't cut from this garden, but today I'm making an exception. That is, of course, the reason that I did not harvest the entire bulb. I'm really hoping that that bulb will store up its energy and give me another beautiful tulip in the next year. Now, I'm in the process of getting this garden ready to film a garden tour for you all, and I'm almost there. There's just one thing that has been driving me absolutely crazy, and I'll see if you can guess what it is. If you guessed red tulips in my purple and white garden, you guessed correct. Are the parrot-shaped tulips incredibly beautiful? Yes. Are they red and do they belong in this garden? Yes, and absolutely not. So I am going to go ahead and harvest them. In this case, I'm going to be taking up the bulb and all because I never want red tulips in this garden ever again. This is a really good example of what tulips might look like before you put them into storage if you are a farmer florist. You can see that the bulbs are still attached. The blooms have nice long stems. The only thing that's not quite right about this is that the flowers are fully open. Removing the foliage from the stems of your tulips is actually very quick and easy. This is a technique that I learned from growing flowers for production as a farmer florist, and I'll show it to you now. You're simply going to hold the tulip firmly in your non-dominant hand, just a bit down from the bloom, and then you're going to pinch the stem with your dominant hand and simply slide down. And just like that, the leaves come right off. One other thing to note about tulips is that when you put them in the vase, they will continue to grow. And this creates a kind of whimsy effect that people either seem to absolutely adore or completely despise. If you fall into the latter camp, when you put your tulips in the vase, cut them a little shorter than you think you'd like them to be. And then as they continue to grow, they'll hit that sweet spot that you were looking for. Thank you so much for joining me in the garden today. I hope this was helpful. If you liked the video, please like, subscribe, hit the bell to turn on notifications, and I'll see you in the next one.